Thank you, thank you. Just a second. Okay. Well, no more advanced cam. I just disabled the entire GoPro app. I mean, I don't think it even got redeemed, or did it?
Matosa says you are.
I guess it did.
You are.
You are. You are. That's dumb. You're doing mod work? Incredible, Brandy. Thank you so much. Okay, let's get back into the video. I'm sorry, chat. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for putting up with the scuff. I promise I'm working on figuring it out. Ugh.
Hello, you absolute legend. We will learn how...
Absolute legends. Okay. Got it. Got it. Excellent. Properties. Here we go. Okay. So this needs to be adjusted a tiny bit. Okay. All right. We back.
How Minecraft scientists once again used incredible knowledge of the game to expose yet another cheater. And we will also look at some of the funnier mistakes MineCrevenger made when he... There was one particular world record, though, that always stood out to me,
here, I think.
And this was the set seed world record that stood at the time. The Dream controversy centered around his random seed runs, where each world is different every time you play, but people also compete in set seed, which means they play the same world over and over. With the set seed category, players can find the fastest world they can, with everything laid out perfectly. They can practice the same world over and over, develop the best strategies, and try to beat the game in the theoretical best time.
BenGames_Aptalo says, did you feed your oven, man?
I did actually. Thank you for the reminder. Honestly, I feel like these set okay, which of these runs do you think is more interesting, the set seed runs or the random, like, I just so happened to cross like or upon like this incredibly lucky seed? Like, I don't know, I like the set seed ones. The RNG ones you think are better, random but no instant resets. So like they can't just like spam a ton of them.
When I made my first
random's better.
Video,
okay, interesting.
A time of 2 minutes and 21 seconds achieved by the player MineCrevenger on the 28th of November 2020.
Do your best with what you have.
For two reasons.
I don't watch enough of them either, Ben.
MineCrevenger is generally credited as the first person to
think they're interesting,
Dream
but
Minecraft streams, collate solid data, and present his findings to the public. And with him being a world record holder at the time, it just made him stand out a bit more.
Never played at all?
But the other reason the world record is memorable is just how good it is. The record...
I do want to start a Minecraft server, like a creator Minecraft server or something, or a community Minecraft server before long. So maybe when that happens, you're going to have to give it a go, Matt.
Remained unbeaten for months, and it wasn't until 2021, when a new faster seed was found, that it was finally beaten. One of the reasons MineCrevenger's run was so good is because he was very lucky. You might think that playing the same world every time would eliminate most of the luck, and while it does eliminate quite a lot, a ton of RNG still remains. The exact location that you spawn into the world is random, and spawning closer to your goal is obviously faster. In MineCrevenger's run, he has a dolphin nearby when he swims to the first nether portal, which allows him to swim faster. Dolphins are also random. but the biggest luck factor that occurs
Dolphins,
in a set seed
super
run
random.
happens
Super,
at the
super
end.
random.
The time it takes for the dragon to perch to allow you to kill it is random. It can happen in under a minute, or it could take several minutes. Mindrevenge's perch was incredibly fast. How fast exactly? Well, to put it bluntly, it's the fastest perch ever. No one before or even since in the hundreds of thousands of recorded runs and attempts has ever had a dragon perch.
That's so sus.
It's not the fastest by a huge amount, only about 2 seconds, but in the context of set seed runs where they are only 2 minutes long, that's a massive amount of time to be faster than everyone else. Mindrevenge's dragon perch made this run very noteworthy.
2 seconds is a lot of time. A lot of time whenever the whole damn run is under 3 minutes.
And obviously, people were fascinated and curious about why the dragon came down so quickly. Figuring out why the dragon perch was so fast would be extremely useful to other players, as if they could replicate it, they could use it to get faster times themselves. But try as they might, no one could figure out why the dragon was so fast.
How did he do it?
Back in 2020, knowledge of the game's mechanics was a lot more limited than it is today. Nowadays, players know much more about how the game works, including the dragon. But what's interesting is that the more the players learned about the dragon, the more it seemed as though the speed at which Mindrevenge's dragon perched was impossible. According to the game's code, at least as far as we currently know, the fastest the dragon can initiate its perch sequence once you enter the end is 23 seconds. Mindrevenge's dragon started its perch in just 21 seconds. Minecraft experts even ran millions of simulations, but still, the dragon never once came close to Mindrevenge's run.
Funny how that works.
This is obviously a bit suspicious, but this is
only a bit suspicious, chat.
necessarily evidence of tampering with the game. There is always the possibility something happened.
Shinko is now following.
Players couldn't replicate Mindrevenge's dragon, but that's not in of itself proof of cheating. It did, however, keep Mindrevenge in the back of players' minds. And recently, something else happened that seemed impossible. But this time, the evidence was concrete. Mindrevenge had to have changed the way the game was working. In early September, Mindrevenge was streaming, as he normally does, attempting to beat the world record for the Set Seed Glitchless category in version 1.15. The strategy in this speedrun requires the player to collect 20 obsidian blocks from 2 blacksmith chests at the start of the run.
That's really what you do.
Nether portals, one to enter the nether and one to leave.
You got to step up your game.
The odds of finding 20 obsidian is only 1 in 479. In most versions of Minecraft, the contents of each chest is determined by the world seed, which means that every time they play a particular world, the chests always contain the same items. But in versions 1.14 and 1.15,
welcome in. How are you?
Chests are
Thank you for being here.
Each time you play. And given that Mindrevenge was going for the 1.15 world record, this meant that he would need to grind the opening 2
say no more. You didn't fillet no one, but darling Debbie probably did.
Oh shit, that's not how that works. No, you're fine.
No.
Waiting on your stuff. What kind of stuff you get?
How about I run that prick over in this thing?
This
I thought
annoying.
you wanted to scope the place. We don't get the container.
chests.
Thank you for
until
shouting
he
out,
found
Strawberry.
enough obsidian. Fortunately for Mindrevenge, he ended up getting the luck he needed, and on the 5th of September, he set a new world record of 2 minutes and 6 seconds. This was a whopping 8 seconds ahead of second place,
nice.
which again
That's awesome.
is massive when considering the length of the speedrun. However, multiple people who were watching the stream noticed something interesting. It appeared as though Mindrevenge was getting a bit too lucky. He was getting a lot of obsidian, more than you'd expect. If this were any other player, and the time wasn't a world record, perhaps nothing would come of it. But given that this was a new world record, and Mindrevenge was already on the radar due to his impossibly fast dragon perch, and also
I'm looking forward to your Pokemon streams,
was already a big concern after the Dream cheating scandal, people gave it a closer look. And just like the dream situation, it would take someone actually gathering the data to find out how lucky he was.
Who did it
the
this
runner
time?
Exosolver would be the one to do it. In that stream, Minecraft checked 290 chests and found a total of 796 obsidian. This gives an average of 2.65 obsidian per chest. According to the game's code, the average amount of obsidian you should get is around 1.46 per chest. The chance of getting this amount of obsidian after 290 chests is 1 in 28 billion.
Can you imagine? Chat. Can you imagine even if he wasn't cheating, imagine using your luck. Imagine using your 1 in 28 billion luck on Minecraft. And not like the fucking lottery or something. Not like avoiding some horrible accident. Not some life-changing positive moment. But nah, I got a 1 in 28 billion obsidian spawn in Minecraft. Oh shit. Yeah, no, 1 in 28 billion is only a little bit sus. We are watching the biggest cheater in Minecraft history was just exposed. Apparently this is a guy that also was not like responsible for, but helped expose Dream for cheating. So like this is from this week, and apparently this person in the Minecraft speedrunning community was exposing people for cheating, but oopsie doopsie also cheating. So yeah, they just maxed their luck stat. Copium, yup. We love catching cheaters. Yes we do.
Of course, this is unlikely, but not as unlikely as what happened with Dream. In my opinion though, this is already enough to make an accusation of cheating. But thankfully, they didn't need to rely on mere odds. It turns out there was a way of conclusively showing if Minecraft chests have been altered. In 1.15, chest contents are determined by the loot seed, and there are a total of 281 trillion possible seeds. This means that the blacksmith chests can have 281 trillion different arrangements. Technically, you should be able to cross-check the arrangements that Minecraft got with these possible seeds to see if there are any that don't happen organically. Naturally, creating software that's able to take Minecraft chests and run them against 281 trillion possibilities.
Well, he spent so much time learning such good cheating strategies. I mean, I feel like that is something that happens. Not only with like just games in general, but like people that do any sort of investigative work and then see like, oh shit. Like actually though, like but actually though, now I know the tricks. Oh my God. That's I mean, I kind of wish it was surprising, but it's just really not. Flashbacks to the Last Week Tonight episode on doping. God, I don't know if I've seen that one actually.
Abilities requires a fair amount of genius.
Keep a close eye on CoffeeZilla, right?
But the
I mean, it's true though. It's true because like motherfucker, like something bad has to come out about CoffeeZilla. That it's just an inevitability at this point.
Do just that. And as it turns out, in Minecraft stream, they found a total of 2 chests that cannot, under any circumstances, happen naturally without the game being modified. And one of those chests just happened to be in the world record run. This was proof that Minecraft was playing on a modified game. But at this point, no one knew just how deep the rabbit hole went, as it would soon come to light that Minecraft had been doing the exact same thing for years. Applying the same technique of checking Minecravenger's chests, they found multiple world records that were cheated, the earliest being all the way back in June of 2020. And it wasn't just increasing rates that Minecravenger used to cheat runs, he also spliced runs. His splices, on the other hand, were a lot easier to spot, which makes it somewhat surprising that these subtle changes in code were discovered.
What are the screens? Oh, I didn't even notice.
Blatant video editing mistakes.
I think it was probably that
August
dude's
30,
cam or something.
Minecravenger achieved a time of 22 minutes and 47 seconds in the random seed category. This wasn't a world record or anything, it was several minutes behind, but it was still good enough to be placed in the top 10. Everything about the run itself seemed fine, but there were some oddities before the run even started. When the world is loading, the timer suddenly jumps to 13 minutes, which simply never happens in any other runs. In fact, this shouldn't happen, and there is no good explanation for it. Also, when Minecravenger selects Create New World, the mouse pointer jumps immediately to a different position at exactly the point at which a likely splice would occur. These anomalies are already sufficient to assume a splice did happen, but the nail in the coffin is a lot more hilarious. This is the screen that Minecravenger saw when he loaded into the world. You can see features like a town ahead to the left and this very prominent ridge down the center of the screen. You can also see a tree poking up on the hill in the distance. Now this is the screen just before he created the world, and it shows a small list of all of the recent worlds he had created. And what's amazing is that at the very bottom of this list, slightly cut off by the end of the page, is the exact same world that Minecravenger is about to load into. Obviously, this shouldn't happen if he was playing a brand new world. It wouldn't show up in his history, but you have to admit that this is a pretty funny mistake, and one that I've never seen before. Looking back, we can safely assume that Minecravenger's impossible dragon perch was also cheated, and people have a pretty good idea about how it was done.
How did he do it? I'm curious about
other runs in different versions of the game
Dude
that
makes
also
such
had
dumb
very,
mistakes.
very suspicious
And it literally took years for people to figure that shit out. Actual years.
Dragon behavior. In the pre-1.9 version, instead of perching in the center, the dragon charges at the player. Therefore, you need to get lucky and have the dragon charge at you quickly and often. According to one player who went through one of Minecravenger's streams, the odds of his dragon behaving as favorably as it did was 1 in 500 trillion.
Got that ad rev and bounced.
Came to light, and a pretty thorough investigation by the Minecraft moderation team, Minecravenger was banned on the 9th of November. What's interesting, however, is his response. Because while he did admit to the splice, he still denies cheating on the other runs. I have to admit, this is strange, because what happened in many of his runs was proven to be impossible. It's not odds, it's not a hunch, it's not circumstantial, it's literally impossible. Still, Minecravenger doesn't seem to want to admit the runs were fake, and ironically uses logic that bears an uncanny resemblance to the tweets Dream initially put out. Some people may point out that it's a pretty big coincidence that the same person that publicly exposed Dream also cheated themselves, but I don't think this is a coincidence.
Snowball of crystals?
I think it's because Minecravenger was cheating in a similar way that he was able to spot it and knew exactly what was happening. While some other runners did comment about Dream's luck at the time, I'm not sure any of them would have actually taken the time to go through every stream and collect the data. But Minecravenger did, precisely because he was doing it himself, and cheating in this particular way was at the forefront of his mind. While the Dream situation was much larger in terms of popularity, this most recent example is probably the most significant and egregious example of cheating in the game's history. Minecravenger set many world records, and had been in the community for years. His set seed world records were classic, and some
are all of these, there's been a couple different clips where he has gotten just mega obsidian in chests. Did he do this multiple times and people really didn't catch on to that? It's just wild.
Some of the current top players even credit Minecravenger as being one of their inspirations. This certainly shocked everyone, and it's hard to really appreciate just how much damage to a community something like this can have. But it also has to be said that Minecraft knowledge is getting incredibly deep. And the fact that they could run Minecravenger's chests against 281 trillion possible combinations to uncover the truth is pretty mind-blowing.
You couldn't even do that shit.
It is getting harder to cheat, and it will continue to get
You couldn't, you literally could not even do that shit. Like imagine trying to run 230 trillion of anything back on like a computer from even the late 2000s. Like imagine like the best gaming computer 10, 15 years ago trying to do 200 trillion of anything or whatever the number was. Like, what's the point speedrunning Minecraft of all games? I mean, what's the point of speedrunning any game? It's just actually you get, I think that these are just different seeds, maybe, or like different strawberry. If you're still here, I think what this is like you can see your other options, so you can jump into other games or something. Swipes military supercomputer to run trillions of sims, right? Go speedrun Mario 64. I mean, it's speedrunning is just like you enjoy the game and you want to try to push the limit of that speedrunning community. I mean, is there a real point? I mean, I feel like it's kind of like that for the very top levels of most hobbies. Like, is there a real point that you're almost killing yourself on, your road bike to shave like 3 seconds off of some segment time? I mean, speedrunners, boys being boys. I mean,
more difficult as cheat detection improves.
Trackmania players,
Minecraft was exposed now after years of cheating
another good example.
because of the advancement of knowledge. And even if I was inclined to cheat, I certainly
fuck,
wouldn't
boy.
feel confident that I could get away with it, knowing just how experienced and knowledgeable the Minecraft speedrunning community is. As always, thank you so much for watching, you legends. I hope you were having a fantastic...
I mean, it's kind of like the algorithmic aimbots and stuff now. Like the just cheating in most games is becoming more complex, but also detection in most games is becoming more complex. And like the knowledge gained in a lot of like communities, even like the Minecraft community over the past couple of years has been it's been a lot. I mean, it's kind of the natural progression of things for sure. But I think speedrunning like really did kind of explode in popularity over the last 5 years. So like a personal point, I mean, kind of, but I mean, also there are a lot of people that follow speedrunning, especially for Minecraft. So, I mean, it goes beyond personal because I mean, a lot of these people want clout. For sure. There's another video that I wanted to watch. Let's see. Where was it? I want to just watch this segment of this Philip DeFranco video. We don't have to watch the whole thing.
Office. Also, they're picking the six.
What? Let's not watch anything about China on the stream. Okay. Hasbro ruining cash cow Magic the Gathering.
Buyers are just eventualities. And then, can a company put out too much of a good thing? Or like, would fans be upset if there was a new
right,
Marvel
Bernie,
movie
right.
every month or a new Star Wars series every week? Because that is exactly what we're seeing many people say about the popular card game Magic the Gathering right now. Also, even if you don't fuck with card collecting or card games, this is fascinating. Or this story covers media, fandoms, business. And to get started, the key thing you need to know is that the company behind Magic, Wizards of the Coast, and its parent company Hasbro have been accused of getting greedier and greedier and that just not paying off for them. And actually, because when it comes to Magic, I'm just some outsider, we decided to reach out to Brian Lewis, better known as the professor from the YouTube channel Tolarian Community College, with essentially the kickoff question being, what are the top things Hasbro has done to fuck up Magic for the community?
Number one is there's too many products, too much oversaturation. This means that players can't savor the flavor, which used to be a catchphrase.
I don't really, this dude looks super familiar. I'm sure I've seen some of his content, but I don't think I've ever watched that much of his content.
Of Magic the Gathering, and can't enjoy the true design that's coming out in these products and even remember what cards are where. It's too much coming out too fast. Yeah. I think number two is definitely cost of
oh, that's cool, Agent.
accessing the gameplay. And number 3, I would say, is definitely The Gathering. We have had some return after pandemic to events, but Wizards does not seem interested in bringing back events as they were, things like GPs.
And the key thing is, like, this
Why
isn't just
would
his
you not
feeling.
want
The
to
stuff
do
he touched
that?
on appears to have been so mishandled.
Why would
that
you not
even
want to
Bank
do
of
that?
America took notice, with them releasing a report double downgrading Hasbro's stock. It's not like they said MTG was a partial cause, but rather this game that has a massive following of tens of millions of players worldwide was the reason for the downgrade. And that has not helped Hasbro's stock, which has taken a beating. Right? And going back to the stuff Brian talked about, it's easy to see that an oversaturation of products is, of course, the thing that players are most frustrated with. But, I mean, you got players from every socioeconomic background saying there's just too much shit to buy. Or like, here are Magic's releases since the game came out. This year alone saw a dramatic spike of more than one new product or set of cards being released every single week. And for many, adding insult to injury,
Holy
the quality of
shit.
the cards also is heavily decreased, with it leading
Oh.
many fans to have this sense of like, what's the point of buying this if it's literally just a worse product?
I don't think you need to be an expert
Oh, that
insider in Magic
sucks.
the Gathering to take a look at what Wizards of the Coast is doing and like look at things like they're having major issues with too much unsold product because they're printing so much so fast. Local game stores can't clear it out. They have to clear it out on discount on Amazon. Warehouse is full. That's not a good thing.
And on top of all that, Hasbro has increasingly moved to
that's a
sell
terrible
sealed
thing.
products directly to consumers through Amazon and single cards through its Secret Lair program, which reprints cards based on themes for about $40. With that leading to different groups within Magic getting upset. You've got players who invest in more expensive cards, mad that Wizard is reprinting cards, which in turn
Like, okay, chat. I like e-commerce. Don't get me wrong. I really do. But acting like the local game stores and stuff where the people get together and play your physical fucking card game, acting like they're not a big deal and doing things that actively hurt them makes no fucking sense to me.
has the potential to devalue their collections, and players who can't afford expensive cards are still upset because they're being sold for $40. Meanwhile, you have game stores angry because they don't get access to any of this. And that last part is a big deal, according to the professor.
You must realize Magic the Gathering exists in no small part, in fact, in a large part.
Ben
due to
Games
local
underscore
game stores.
Aptalos says the new Mario movie trailer. I'm down bad for Peach, I mean, it looks like a good movie.
We're going to have to watch that trailer after this. TCG should encourage it, not destroy. Yeah, right? That's exactly what my friends and I stopped playing. That fucking sucks to hear, Clementine. Like, that really sucks. It really does. But I get it. I haven't played a physical in a long time. The cards are too expensive now. And this is, I mean, how big is my community? Like, it's not really that big. And right now, literally right now in chat, there are 2 people that are like, yeah, I don't play anymore because it's too expensive and all this bullshit. Like, that's that's insane. That's actually insane. Just extrapolate that to the general population, and like, there are so many people that are probably in they feel the exact same way that Mir and Clementine feel. And like, that fucking sucks, because even if I don't play, even if I haven't played the game in a long time, I want Magic to be there in 10 years. I want Magic to be there in 10 years. I love going back and buying whatever the new booster is. I love getting to talk to my friends about it. I met a professional Magic the Gathering player when I was at TwitchCon that just fucking happened to be there, and like, got to hear all sorts of cool shit about the game. A lot of it was ranting about the 30th anniversary like disaster, but like, that kind of shit's not going to happen if the game dies. It's just not.
Like this one here, where animals live.
Hi, Mid Valley.
And they worked. There's an endangered species
Hi.
right there.
Hi. I stopped playing 12 years ago. Well, Epic, welcome back. Thank you for the headpats. Polka Dog, welcome. I stopped playing 12 years ago after realizing cards got power crept every year. So why even buy anything when it becomes obsolete so fast? Well, I mean, I feel like that's why you were seeing things like Pauper. That's why you're seeing the different formats. Like you can the community, like if they push that shit too far, the community will come up with ways to make the game interesting, unless they go so far that the community is just like, fuck this shit, we're completely out. Like, fuck this shit, we're completely out. Yeah. How am I? I'm fantastic, Wolfik. I'm fantastic. My streams only crashed one time today, which now I've fucked myself and it's probably going to immediately crash again. But it's been a good stream. I had a good day. I had a good workout. I cannot complain. How are you, Wolfik? How are you? Mario Safari. Hi. Hey, everyone. Did you hear about this new challenge on TikTok? Recently, Stun Seed. No. What's Stun Seed? Tell me about it. Big companies don't care about the people, just their profits. Yeah, I mean, in a lot of cases, I feel like that is generally correct. Because every game turns into whoever gets luckier first draw in 1 to 3 turns. There's a certain point in like most things. Okay. It's just like playing a game like Prop Hunt. Is most everybody familiar with what a prop hunt game is? Here's a quick idea of it if you're not familiar with the concept. Think a game where there's a preset level that you load into, and there's a couple people that are basically playing like hide and seek. The team that starts out as hunters, they're like generally blind in the beginning, and you as the hider or as the prop gets to go in the level and find like an item and imitate that and hide somewhere. So like it doesn't usually change every time. To my knowledge, like there's not really a game that's nailed it to the point where like the level's different every time you load in. So like there's this really beautiful like period of time where you and your friends start to play prop and seek, where not everybody has memorized the maps and nobody's super sweaty, and you're just having a good time, and it's goofy and it's fun, and yeah. But then inevitably somebody plays the shit out of it and memorizes every single little fucking thing on the map, and it loses its magic. It really does. So I feel like at like the very top levels of like most games or like Magic the Gathering, shit like that, like once you start to take it too seriously, like you have to have a very specific love for Magic the Gathering to want to play it at that very, very high level where yes, the game is decided in like the first couple turns. And if that shit is for you, that's awesome. But most people are not going to want to like expose themselves to that much sweat. Min-max and metas ruin a lot of games. Yeah, they really do. They really do. Okay, Mare says, if you read it backwards, you get stunned for 3 seconds. D's nuts. Thank you, Mare. How are you? That is a good one. We need prop hunt game where each level is procedurally generated. We do. That would be incredible. And am I calling you out, Mir? Yes, I am calling you out. Hylia, why are you throwing shit at me? Don't be upset. Don't be upset because I dunked on you earlier, okay? It's okay. I still love you, Hylia. I don't know how you didn't see that coming, to be honest. Or SMH. Listen, my memory's starting to go. I swear to God I've seen that one before, but I legitimately didn't remember it. I knew that it was going to be something, but that one was actually pretty good. But yeah, it's just wow. I wish that we did have a procedurally generated prop hunt. Maybe there is a game like that now. I don't know. We should play some prop hunt on stream sometime. There's a lot of different versions of it now, so we could pick one and it would be fun.
who take all the risk. These are independent people who open up stores. They take out the small business loan. They sell Magic's product. They teach new players how to play the game. You think Amazon teaches you how to play the game? You think Walmart has a space for you to play the game? No, it's the local game stores. And they're who've been around. They want to cut out local game stores. They have cut out local game stores. Secret Layers is them cutting out like local game stores, but also just their prices on Amazon are cutting out local game stores.
Yeah.
Your local game store likely has to pay more to get product from Wizards of the Coast than you have to pay on Amazon for that product. These new sets coming out, they're cheaper on Amazon than the local game store is paying for the product. So literally local game stores now have to compete with Wizards of the Coast to sell and popularize Magic the Gathering.
We also asked if he, through his fans, has noticed the same general sense of product fatigue that we saw when looking into the story.
They do have a fatigue. They've had a fatigue for a long time. We've all been talking about this because at the end of the day, you know, in some ways it's a better sign that you have Magic players complaining than Magic players not complaining, because not complaining is we're just going to go play a different game like, you know, Digimon or Flesh and Blood.
They don't want to. They want to play Magic.
Complaining is I'm passionate about this game. I want it to be better. I'm upset about the direction. Magic players have been complaining for the last couple years about this. Wizards of the Coast has been very dismissive.
But one of the biggest controversies right now in this community, the thing that's been all over the news and social media as the pinnacle of how out of touch Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast is their Magic 30th release, which was just released today. Why? What is it? Well, it's a reprint of Magic cards from the game's earliest history that players can access by buying 4 booster packs for around, wait for it, $1,000 for a total of 60 random cards. You then compare that to a normal booster pack for a normal set, which costs around $3 to $4. So Hasbro likely thought this product's going to be a smash hit. The cards in the set include Magic's most iconic cards that Wizards of the Coast promised they would never reprint, which helped drive their prices into the if you have to ask, you can't afford it level. But also, the company doesn't think that it's lying. In order to skirt around their self-imposed reprint prohibition, they changed these cards to not be playable in normal games and change how they look to differentiate, which has led many fans to go, what is the point of this fucking product? You can't technically use and play the cards, and you price out the vast majority of players. And it's been so controversial that major figures in the MTG space have released videos saying,
so again, on this first video out of many in the next few weeks, I ask you all, love, hate, however you are, please do not buy it. If you do not vote with your wallet, we all lose.
And that was Rudy from the channel Alpha Investments, and his and others' calls to action may have actually paid off, as the product was made unavailable about 30 minutes after going live, leading to many saying that the company wanted to make it seem more successful than it was. That result isn't too surprising, as the professor seemingly saw it coming when he gave us this answer when we asked, who is this product for?
The product is, without a doubt, an unmitigated disaster, and who it's for is no one that actually plays Magic the Gathering, and interestingly enough, not even most people who collect Magic the Gathering. Well, certainly there's always going to be someone somewhere that's going to buy it and try and find some value that they can flip it for later, even though it's not even cards you can play with. It really is a product for no one. And the fact that this is hailed by Wizards of the Coast as their anniversary edition, something.
The instant that I saw the price after seeing them be like, we want the people that didn't get to experience this.
Monster says, or you twin double turbo macaroni and cheese looking microphone. What the fuck I just said? I think I just had brain lag.
Hi, Monster. How are you? Welcome in. Once I saw, like, they were like, we want people to be able to experience this because they didn't have the opportunity before. Also, it's $1,000. Like,
to celebrate 30 years of the game, of community, of the players. And it's as much as some people make in a month for 60 fake Magic cards. They're not even real. It's astonishing that they would do this and think it was a good idea.
And here's the thing. At the end of the day, you know, this is a business. But it feels like when you talk to people and you watch people speak in this space, like, they are aware of this. It's just the degree of what this company is doing that is pissing people off.
I know companies, corporations are going to corporation, right? But there's a point where it's like, whoa, take it down a notch. Just at least let us play the game and enjoy the game. And that seems to be an afterthought in so much of what this company does now.
But ultimately, where I'm going to close this story, one, thank you to Brian Lewis for taking the time to speak with us. If you're interested in this space or Brian, I cannot recommend you clicking that link down below enough. And for me, even like I said, as a normie outsider, I'm very fascinated to see what's going to happen with this space and community moving forward. Is it a moment?
Sounds like $100 would have been a bit much, but still a good price. It still would have been greedy. It still would have been greedy. But I believe that they have sold single boosters for $20+ before of these limited release things in the past couple years. Yeah. So you're probably really not far off, Polkadog. I bet people would have bought in for $100 for 4 packs. I'm on my way to buy those Monopoly cards minus 1K. Hell yeah. 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 One was really forward thinking and got a liquor license. Okay. So like this may be, let me know if you disagree with this, but, I feel like as a LAN center or a trading card, like as a game shop that does like host D&D or card games or thank you for the stretch 488. Thank you. I feel like really to survive, you're more so dependent upon creating the community and in the maybe at least the environment where the community can thrive for people to come together and spend time at, think of the hydrate, like spend time at your business. Like that is just kind of, if it's not like the most important thing for one of those businesses, it's gotta be like one of the top couple most important things. And yeah, so finding any little way to have people spend money while they're there, snacks and stuff like that. It's actually kind of similar in a lot of ways to like a streamer, because like I think it is incredibly important for a streamer to create an environment where people enjoy coming to hang out. And like without that, people aren't going to fucking come hang out and the streams aren't going to be as entertaining. So it's interesting that it's pivoted from like, it used to be like your only access to things like that, your only access to the figures for like Warhammer was at these shops. Now you can 3D print shit. It used to be that your only access to trading cards was these shops. Now you can buy that shit online. It used to be that the only place that you had a fast enough internet connection and a more powerful enough computer to play games at was the LAN center. Well, I mean, now you can buy a fucking Steam Deck, and you can play that shit on your couch. Like it's just, I've been to these shops in a bunch of different states. The only time people weren't there playing was during a snowstorm once. There are places that absolutely like knock it out of the park and they thrive. But like, there are also places that simply do not create that space that's inviting and gets people to come back. And those businesses, I don't feel like survive. So yeah, I don't know. It's just interesting to think about. It's interesting to think about. It's sad, really the same thing with arcades. Yeah, I agree. I agree, Matt. And unfortunately with an arcade, like what can you really do to create a community for the arcade? Like there's a couple of arcade games that may have some kind of community around them. Like if you have a DDR machine or something like that, you'll have like some regulars that come up there and play those games. But like, I feel like an arcade, in order to survive in 2022, like really kind of has to be tacked on to something else. It's not easy. It's not easy. I would totally go to arcades if they were big still. Yeah. I mean, the last arcade that I went to that was really, really cool, and was doing well was the Pinball Museum in somewhere in North Carolina. I forget which city it was actually in, but it was super awesome. But it also kind of diversified in the fact that it was a museum. So you're going to catch people that just want to see old arcade, like old pinball machines. They sold merch there because it was a big enough attraction. They had drinks there, but then they also, like in the back behind the arcades or behind the pinball machines and stuff, they did have like other arcade cabinets and stuff like that. So you would have people, it just, all of that stuff piled up into one made it work. unless your arcade is like, yeah, you see arcades exist in places with like bowling alleys and laser tag and whatever. You bring your kids there for like birthday parties, and most of the arcade games are just like gotcha now. But like arcades as I remember them, like I just don't really think they exist anymore. There's a cool like arcade bar in Tampa, I think. It's good for adult business with the nostalgia factor. Yeah, that's a thing. But again, that's an arcade tacked onto something else. And like a lot of times I've been to a couple of arcades. A lot of times the arcade really just kind of fades into it's not the focal point of the experience. Maybe you show up there first and you're like, holy shit, that's awesome. But then it just tends to get too crowded. We should go to round one. I'm down. Arcades seem to thrive in small towns. That's interesting. I mean, if there's not much else to do there, I mean, I think a lot of that does go back to like what I was saying earlier about like, where were these places? Like before you had accessibility to these things, you had to go to a LAN center to play the games and shit. It's probably kind of a similar vibe these days in a smaller town with an arcade. I love when businesses like that thrive. Like I want to see more of that shit. Holy shit.
Moment of self-reflection and growth, not because like a company needs to be moral, but when you engorge yourself so much you got to cut off a limb to survive, like that's not a great thing to do, which also, I mean, is a weird position to be in, right? The majority of solutions being proposed is be less greedy and hope that makes you more money, versus what I imagine kind of part of their model is right now, in that they're whale hunting, right? They're thinking, fuck the people that buy, you know, several $5 packs.
They are whale hunting.
100 of those in for some whale that's going to drop, you know, $17,000 to $25,000 on less than 100 booster packs. But then, you know, there is the prospect of, do you hurt the community so much that it then hurts the sales, which makes it so the whales aren't interested?
Thank you, 488.
Even as someone that's not,
yeah, are we seeing a movie this week, Kung Fu?
Fascinated. And now that you've made it through the story with me, I want to ask the question, whether you're in the community or you're not, what are your thoughts and take?
I think they are whale hunting. I think it's similar to it's also similar to like the Diablo mobile game that got released not too long ago. Where like it took like $100,000 or something to like max out a gym or some nonsense, like max out one single piece of gear. I don't know. It's just I get why companies try to do this. You could buy Grim Dawn for $30 instead. Ooh, yeah, over 100K to get max gems. I'm not even okay, this might be a hot take. I'm not even necessarily against publishers putting in ultra expensive things for their whales to make their whales feel special, right? I'm not. But it has to be stuff that is just stupid and fucking pointless, and it should never take away from the playability of the game for average, like your average player. If the whale wants to pay $3,500 for a bright fucking green name that has like a glitter effect or something, fine, but it should not take $100,000 to max out your gems. Genshin, paying max constellation characters play differently from ones without them. I'm not shocked to hear that, Bernie. C6 characters in Genshin. I don't know enough about Genshin, but that does. I mean, Genshin is one of the worst ones, right? Genshin is like one of the worst offenders, isn't it? But like, is there any like PvP in Genshin? Like, I don't really. There's no PvP. Okay, so like, that's kind of. I mean, I still think it's shitty, just co-op and solo. I still think it's shitty, and I still don't think that it should be done. But at least that's not a game where it's shitty, but you can still enjoy the game. Yep. It's for the Abyss content mainly. The problem is like whenever you start saying things like, and I'm not jumping down your throat, Brainy, I promise. It's shitty, but you can still enjoy the game. It's like whenever you start saying shit like that, it's like, where do you draw the line? Like how much more is someone with that C6 character enjoying the game? I don't know the answer to that. I'm not familiar enough with the game, but like, I don't know. Part of the reason why I like the when games like DayZ and stuff started to become popular, or your general like battle royale styled games, I really liked the beginning of that genre, because you would spawn in, you had just as much as anybody else, and yeah, there was some RNG, but like you didn't have to grind for shit. You just jumped in, you bought the game, you jumped in, and you had a good fucking time. And I feel like you don't often run into that in gaming anymore. All these games are, and like a lot of this shit. Yo, Jester, thank you so much. 5 fucking months. Omgbees. That is me. How are you? How was your day? Welcome in. Thank you for being here. It got very far in Warframe without spending money besides slots. I heard that is Warframe still like that? Like, can you still do quite a bit in it? I'm pretty sure that you can. I thought that Warframe was like an example of a game where like you really could play with anybody that spent like a pretty big amount of money in Warframe. Negative 75% vouchers. There's one system, Riven mods. I'm good. Just got home from work. Well, I hope you get to just chill. I'm sure that you don't. But welcome home. I hope you get to relax some. It's fully RNG. I think they've been changing a lot. Most of my Groll Rivens are nerfed now. Oh, God Roll Rivens are nerfed now. Yeah. So far, so chill. Excellent. I'm glad to hear that. Warframe is very free to play friendly. That's awesome. Yeah. And like, that's the thing. Like, that's when you build in the systems that let the whales carry the game for you, but it doesn't actually ruin the experience for everyone else. I feel like that can work. They're balancing it to keep the outliers in check. That's a good thing. It used to be very power crept though, like bad. Are they getting it back under control? I spent so much money on Warframe. I can't wait for it to cross save.
All you need to do is send it in
Apollo!
$5, $20, whatever you can spare.
I'd Quiet gave me the option to do this
What
now
the fuck?
and not last night when I actually subbed.
Yo, I'll take it. We're close to a hype train, chat. Thank you, Apollo. Thank you for the Prime sub, even though I thanked you for it last night. Brainy, I had Big Boom Rivens. I have literally speaking another language. One of my VTuber siblings, Depths, is super into Warframe, and I have watched a stupid amount of hours of Warframe just lurking in Depths streams, and I have no fucking idea. Literally no idea. I have picked up actually no game knowledge. Probably over 100 hours lurking in Depths chat. Like, you're awake? Did you take a fucking nap after work, Inger? Hi. Welcome in. Thank you for being here. My favorite credit card CD with perfect negatives are Riven Brainy, Sag, nerfed. I know that wasn't credit card, but it's what made me think. I should sleep ASAP? Boo. Boo. I touched the bed and passed out. I kind of wanted to do that today. I'm not going to lie. Crit chance and crit damage. That makes sense. I remember playing Warframe for like a week and then stopped because no friends to play with. I had a lot of friends that were into Warframe. I had friends that would hit me up like every couple months and be like, you playing Warframe yet? You playing Warframe yet? Like, honestly, if I reached out to that friend, I haven't talked to him in a minute, but he would probably be like, yo, are we going to play Warframe? 3K hours in Warframe? Hey, nothing wrong with that. I used to play Warframe a ton. I am not shocked to hear that, Anger. I love being able to slide 100+ feet across the ground. I always did like the I don't know, the movement and the style of Warframe for sure. Rhino Stomp used to be good. Do we need to watch like some Warframe content on YouTube? We are doing Phil a serious disservice here with where I paused him. No, that would be sad. Might be 5K hours. Holy shit. I did not realize that y'all were so into Warframe. Is Warframe FPS? I'm pretty sure it's a like a third person. But I mean, it is a shooter. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I thought. I actually really like third person shooters. I really do. There was a bug that allowed you to slide fast with melee weapons, had a lot of attack speed. Oh, you could legit fly across hallways. I used to watch for ages a bunch of Warframe streamers that help viewers do battles, sorties, raids, etc. Oh, the slide melee meta. Could literally jump the map. It was great. That sounds amazing. Hey, at least Warframe is still like alive. I'm sorry if this makes you like relapse or something into your Warframe responsible habit from the sounds of it, chat. It's a new game now. Yeah, I had heard that they'd been putting like a lot of work into it. You'd spin like a Beyblade and just do nutty damage. It was insane. That sounds amazing. It really does. They're ambitious for sure. I hope it goes well for them. I mean, I'm sure it's going better for them than it is for APB. I fucking love it. Do we have anybody in chat that played APB? Anybody? Literally anybody. I love the shit out of that game, and it is super dead. Polka Dog? Hell yeah. Never heard of it. I call APB the best worst game I've ever played. It was never not trash. Is that the cops and robbers game? Yes. Yeah. So it was the server started out, I think, as 100 versus 100. There were no NPCs that you like interacted with on missions. It was all PvP. So basically there was the criminals and the cops and robbers, and the lobby was the server that you were in, and you were like in a city, and you would get assigned a task, and then a group of the opposing faction would get assigned to stop you. It's such a fucking cool concept. And like, if you did well enough, you would get flagged as aggressive to the entire server. So the opposing faction could take you out. So you might be on a mission. And then all of a sudden you're actually having to defend yourself against the entirety of the opposing faction on the server. I like doing petty crimes like graffiti or stealing TVs in game too. That was a joke. Please don't call the cops on me. Too late. Did I like Battlefield Hardline? I didn't play enough of it to really. Okay. Like the first shooter that I played competitively was Battlefield 1942 with the Desert Combat mod. I loved the shit out of that game. And I had thousands of hours in that. And I did play like Battlefield titles after that. Like I had quite a few hours in like Battlefield 2 and Vietnam and like a lot of the other titles, but like I don't think that I ever really invested a ton of time into Hardline. I did enjoy it. I remember enjoying it. No one liked Hardline, but it was so good. No, I enjoyed it. I did. Hardline was hands down my favorite. Yo, Pakawaku, welcome. Thank you for being here. I liked it. Hello, officer. Yes, it's me. Okay. Let me hold on. I can find... Brother, we should post a private lobby. I'm totally down to play some shit like that sometime. I would love nothing like... I would love nothing more than to get y'all to install like a group of us to install Battlefield 1942 with the DC mod and just let me absolutely fucking destroy all of you. And we could play the games that y'all are good at too. Listen, that shit is like riding a bike for me. I have played it since at like LAN parties and stuff. Destroy me, daddy. Gladly. I love convincing people at LAN parties.
What you say to me, you little shit?
I said what I fucking said. I love convincing people at like LAN parties or shit like that I've been to. What happened to Gunfire Reborn? I would love to play some Gunfire Reborn as well. Like I really would. So we should, like, I have a lot of fucking streaming to do. The problem is that we also just have such a fucking good time hanging out that sometimes it's difficult to make it to the gaming. Gunfire is a great game with so many issues. Yeah, I mean, it is, but like I've always had such a good time with it, even if it is kind of imbalanced in a lot of ways. But yeah, convincing people to play Battlefield with me, and then we make it like an hour, and people are like, you know what, I'm over it. Proots, hi Proot, how are you? I saw you earlier after I crashed. You having a fantastic day, Proot?
Few Colored says, oh no, Officer Bees, are you going to strip search me?
Yes, I am. Well, I mean, that depends. Do you consent to the strip search? Yo, Depside, welcome in. Thank you for being here. They're either long, not so super stream friendly, but insane. Wait, what are we talking about? Peak the J-Rose 11 vids. If anything, the recent titles. Okay. Just chilling out, my dude. I'm glad to hear it. I hope you enjoy the relaxation and the chilling. I'm glad you have chosen to do that here with us. Can you beat Pokemon Crystal without dealing damage? Oh shit, this dude does some really cool stuff. Oh, these look like they're super in depth too.